All
Hell
right,
yeah.
let's get started here with these
So-
knuckleheads. We are live here, people, with another Star
Oops.
Wars Galaxy of Heroes live stream with the Jedi Academy. That's right. For those of you not familiar with the Jedi Academy, it is a question and answer stream. You guys ask the questions. These guys have the answers for you. So make sure you get in those questions into your chat. Include the word question in your statement when you put it in there so that we will be able to get your question in through Nightbot. So make sure that it does have the word question in your question. Otherwise, Nightbot will not pick it up. And that is the way I am collecting questions. So, how is everybody doing out there? We are here with Jedi Academy with these two folks, which hopefully you recognize, well, kind of. One of which is a little different. We'll talk about that here in a second. But down below first, we have the Australian beer drinker himself, not Foster's, the real stuff. It is Heinzie.
Don't get me started on that Foster's crap, brother.
Yeah. Australians wouldn't give a Castlemaine 4X for anything
I
else.
thought you were saying I was the different looking one. I thought, hang on, I actually feel pretty normal today. But anyway, hello everyone. It is, as always, a pleasure to be here with Finn, who I'm hoping one day might put the afro back on, but that's just me. Anyway,
He's hoping against hope. It's fine. It's fine.
Hope everyone else is well. Looking forward to another great little session, my friend. And yeah, it should be good.
And the man who looks a little different than he normally does. The British man that is in the U.S. trying to pull off apparently a Dr. Evil. I don't know what that was.
That's Dr. Evil.
I think he was going for Zoolander originally.
I was going for Zoolander.
Oh,
no,
okay.
yeah.
See?
Yeah, that.
Heinzie
Okay.
Heinzie gets
Heinzie
it.
got it.
Heinzie got the
Heinzie got it.
reference.
Yeah, Heinzie got it. All right, then we have Mr. Nev. So Nev, what is different
That's
about
Mr.
you?
the Nev to you.
Mr. the Nev. Sorry,
That's Mr. the Nev to you, yeah.
Yes, Mr. the Nev. Something seems a little bit different. I can't quite place my hair on it. I mean my finger. My finger.
I'm just wearing a beanie, that's all. I'm just wearing a beanie, you know?
Hey, it was a big deal what you did. I think it's worth mentioning.
You know, it's a beanie that my mum knitted. My mum makes and knits beanies and then she sells them. So I'm just modeling one of my mum's beanies.
If you are not aware, right, you guys can check out the video, but I do want to give a shout out to the Nev and the Escape podcast reaching the 1,000 subscriber mark. So congratulations there to the Escape podcast.
Which enabled me to do what I did yesterday, which is live stream directly from the channel. Me getting my hair all chopped off, which was which was a lot of fun. First time I've done that since 2017.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
yeah, damn. Well, there you go. So
And the hairdresser was hot, which is always a bonus.
yes,
Yeah, helps.
yeah, it helps.
It does help.
What's a hairdresser? Just saying.
What?
Haven't seen a hairdresser since about 1993, I reckon. But anyway, never mind.
Your loss.
Congrats, Nev. Good job, man. Big call. You threw the cojones out there and you followed through, brother. That's a lot
this is
of
starting out fantastic.
A lot of respect. Yeah, a lot of respect.
Yes. But congratulations to the Escape podcast. And so we are going to jump into some of the stuff happening around the galaxy. And let's start off with what was the biggest news yesterday. They dropped it late yesterday and caught people by surprise going into the weekend. We have the State of the Galaxy from Top Hat. Now, I mentioned before, Top Hat, unlike Carrie, does not focus on the road ahead. He focuses on the state of the galaxy. You can go back and look at his posts. His roads ahead are honestly very minimal. It's crap, right? A lot of people said it was crap because we expected more of what Carrie did with the road ahead. Top Hat does that in his State of the Galaxies. So I always look forward to those. We finally got the August State of the Galaxy, and we got a whole bunch of information. Not everything, but we got a whole bunch of information about the galactic challenges. So, Mr. Hairless there, Nev. Nev is the hairless one now. Heinzie is fine. so
You got to narrow it down, man. You got to be more clear.
I know. And then I have this. So I'm the only one now, right now.
Oh, careful. That's hot. That's
Hey,
hot.
grid's not
Be
on right
careful
now,
doing
so I
that.
get to do that. So
Be careful doing that, man. It's dead set. It's hot down under.
so Nev, we'll start with you. What did you think about the State of the Galaxy post and what we can look forward to with Galactic Challenges?
Well, it was nice to see something. Let's make sure I'm not on mute. Yeah, no, I'm not on mute. It was nice to see all of the data mine info confirmed, because a lot of what was in that State of the Galaxy regarding regarding the GCs, the Galactic Challenges, I'm calling them the GCs, was we suspected what was going to be in it. We suspected the locations because of the images that were from the data mine. We suspected what the advantages and the disadvantages, that the variables that were going to be integrated into the tiers, because that was also in the data mine. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was lots of in the State of Galaxy post that was not in the data mine, but I just think that it was well presented. The information was clear. It was concise. We know what to expect. We know what we're going to get. Maybe not as clear on what the rewards are going to be for the higher tiers. The video that was playing did show an example of what some of the rewards were going to be, but it looked like it was showing the rewards for the lower tiers. So there's no real saying. There was no real saying what the higher tiers were going to be, but they did stipulate in the post that the rewards could be changed, because they always throw that subject to change in there based on feedback on what the feats and what the rewards are. So hopefully, hopefully the rewards aren't too bad, and they'll take feedback and they'll increase them a bit like they did with GAC. Everybody complained about the end, the end of the championship rewards being weak, because they were. The rewards that you got at the end of the week, great. The rewards that you got at the end of the month, weak, like really weak. So they increased the number of currency. So hopefully it's something like that. They will take on board feedback. They will take on board criticism. And if the rewards are abysmal, then hopefully that they'll increase it. But the one big thing that I think that was really, really important was the removing of prerequisites, because they were stipulating that you were going to have to do something in order to qualify for, like doing dailies or something like that. You were going to have to do something each day to qualify for the event. And now they're just making it, no, that's it. We're getting rid of that. You just have to be level 60 or above to do the event. And that's the good part. I think that's brilliant. That does make it all inclusive for anybody in the game over level 60. You just simply log on, and if you're over 60 and you're around about the time that the GCs are running, you join, you go do it, boom. You don't have to do a bunch of stuff in the game in order to, participate and enjoy the event like everybody else.
Yeah. And I agree. I think it's a big thing that they actually maybe heard the community. I'm hoping so. Basically saying we want stuff that we can play and we're engaged with, right? We don't just want to do TB over and over again. It's not compelling. Lightside GOTB is kind of overly difficult intentionally, right? We know that it's not it's crazy, just the difficulty on Lightside GOTB. It feels like it's not for where we are. So everyone is just looking for playable content, and I think that is a smart choice. And Heinze, to what Nev is saying, I mean, to me, maybe out of the biggest thing out of that entire post, I know we got information about Galactic Challenges and all that, right? To me, anyways, the most important thing was that they are doing the exhibition mode the same way like they're doing GAC. So do you think that it is a good idea, right? Because we've asked for similar things. So what do you think about the idea of the exhibition? And the other part too, let's not just put it on CG, right? There has to be some onus on the player base. Do you think the player base are going to be serious enough to provide reasonable feedback, or do you think, unfortunately, with the way that the community has been lately, right? We can just be flat out honest, it's been extremely negative, right? So is there going to be constructive feedback, or are we expecting the players just to be just complaining the entire time and not give CG what they really need in order to make this a quality game mode?
Wow, hit me with a hard one straight up front, brother. Okay, right, so let's go from there. Wow, you've been saving this up, haven't you? Okay, let's start with this. Firstly, I'm quite thrilled as well that the event is really accessible. I think that's great. We talked about that last night. I think that there's something that in regard to the feedback and getting positive feedback, whilst there's a lot of negative aspects by a lot of creators specifically out there and has been for a while, a lot of them will say that they call a spade. And what I mean by that is that if they do something wrong, they're always going to pull them up on it. But there's been the same amount of people, if not more, that when they do something right, they get the kudos they deserve as well. Let's be fair. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that they've been kicking some really positive, they've been making positive moves right from the moment that they released the Vader rework and Jedi Luke. Let's be fair. They haven't really put too much of a foot wrong. And I'm the first one to admit that, well done. You've done a great job with that. We call
more positives than negatives.
I agree. And that's the point. I think that that's a great result. I think that that's what we want as a community. We want to be positive. We want to be excited about things about the game that we've been investing so much time and love into. I like that they've moved the daily restriction. To be fair, it's not that much of a restriction. I mean, doing your dailies every day, to be honest, it's for the majority of guilds that are seriously going to have fun with Galactic Challenges. They're doing their daily requirements anyway. It's not difficult, let's be honest. But with that being said, they've removed it to level 60. That's great. It's certainly more accessible. In regard to getting the correct feedback, because there's a lot of sass, I think that you've seen, guys, that a lot of that sass has eased, even by a lot of the other creators for a while now, in the last few weeks. The fires have died down a little bit. I'm not saying they're completely gone. There's always going to be people that criticize them for whatever reason, for whatever issue that's going on. I mean, there's been other issues that have been brought up. Cheating popped up again during the week, things like that. There's always going to be certainly issues to deal with. Overall, I'm really positive with how things are going. I think that they should get the feedback. I'd be more than willing to give them feedback, and so would anyone, because we want it to work. I like the exhibition concept. They did that with GAC, and they got it right. That's what we want. We want them to get it right. And if that means that they're going to run an exhibition to make sure that it is running the way they want to do, which they've already mentioned, Unity, first cab off the rank, this is it. They're grabbing Unity out now and they're running with it seriously, then that's great. We want to see how it works. We want them to be successful in this game mode, because the last thing we want is an epic failure and a dumpster fire, which then obviously fans the flames even more with everything else going on over the last few months.
Yeah. Cheating didn't rear its ugly head again this week, Heinzie. It
Never
didn't.
does.
No,
Never does.
No. The specific issue that you're talking about, it didn't rear its ugly head. That was a false start. That was
Good,
BS.
because we don't want to be talking about cheating. We just want to beat them, get rid of them. We don't even want to know. If there's a question mark, get rid of them. It's simple. It's not rocket science. They've even said zero tolerance. Keep it zero tolerance. If it's zero tolerance, kick them out. If there's a question mark over them, if it's a 30% chance of them cheating, get rid of them. We don't want them. We want to keep the game pure, guys. That's my thought anyway.
Yep. Okay. And and to that point, I'll give a little shout out too, because Nev, being the intrepid reporter that he is, with his compatriot Paul, did do a video about the cheating that was discussed here. So do make sure that you go onto the Escape Podcast and check out that video if you guys have not. It is a good watch, especially if you've seen some of the videos about the cheating and stuff going on. They actually interview the said cheater. So make sure you do check that out.
That's great. And that's what I'm happy about. If someone's doing the right thing, by all means, that's great. Someone's doing the wrong thing, goodbye.
Yep.
That's the way it should be. It's pretty simple. And there've been obviously opportunities and instances on both sides of that fence. If there's anyone's doing the right thing and they can prove they've done the right thing, fantastic. Get on with it. If someone stuffed up, no way, shape, or form. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to go back and check XSWGOH and know that that cheating git, because obviously his was the most obvious occasion of someone cheating, because the battle logs were so obvious that he cheated in GAC. And everybody was saying that he'd been banned, but he'd been allowed back in, and we were like, no, he hasn't.
No, he was.
No,
he was,
because his account is still banned from the day we took that screenshot.
It is now, but he actually did come back. Because I did a video on that too. XSWGOH had joined another guild and actually played. The account was active. He moved up in arena, and then since then it's been banned again or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a 48-hour period.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, there was a 48-hour period, huge amount of outrage, and it's like, he should be permanently banned, and the reversal was reversed.
Yes, the reversal was reversed.
The reversal was reversed.
What I'm saying, if there's a zero tolerance policy, that was an account to do a zero tolerance policy.
That was an account. Yeah, exactly. That was 100% clear cut cheating in GAC. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, but on the flip side, if I can just finish, because I know you want to move on from this. On the flip
no,
side,
it's fine. There's a lot of questions here about this, so go ahead.
Yeah, but there was the fact as well that there was obviously another account that I know really, really well, that obviously there was a question mark over it. Again, basically CG wiped it, banned it, insta-ban, no questions asked. The other issue that after that ban was that when obviously it was asked why, there was not one piece of communication after that from them. No recourse, no, let's revisit it in 4 weeks, any of that sort of crap. There was none of that against another account as well. So there's still that
inconsistency.
And that inconsistency. It's either all or nothing. Either you give everyone the shadow, the chance, or you don't. And you've said zero tolerance. So there should be no reason that 40-hour unlock. There should be no reason for that 4 weeks later, let's revisit it. Either you're out or you're not. Simple. Call it, done, move on. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Anyway.
If somebody's getting reported in GAC, because GAC is the one where they publicly said, way back in August 2019, they publicly said, if you do this crime, this is going to be your punishment. And it was the first time that they specifically said this will be your punishment for terms of service infraction. And it's the only time where they've said this is exactly what your punishment is going to be. They need to be consistent with it. They can't just ban someone and say, oh, if we've got it wrong, we'll review it in 4 weeks. It's like, no, you do an audit before you ban somebody, because if you incorrectly ban somebody, it is going to sully their name. It's like somebody being falsely accused of something and named, and then they go to court and they're 100% exonerated. It's like, well,
you can't put it back in the bag. Everyone
can't put it back in the bag. For 12 months, you dragged that person's name through the mud. They were exonerated. They were cleared. But where's the 12 months of their life back? Yeah. You've got to clear them before, you cannot drop a ban hammer before you do, an audit. You've got to do the audit like Lucifer's daddy or Leviathan. They've got to do the audit before they drop a ban hammer. They can't just drop the ban hammer and then say, if people get in touch, because if they drop a ban hammer and someone knows they're guilty, they're probably not going to, go back. It's like, oh, why have you banned me? You know why you've been banned. You cheated. But if somebody's like, why have I been banned? Like genuine concern. It's like, oh, well, you were banned for this infraction on this day. And it's like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do that. It's like, oh, well, come back in 4 weeks. No. You cannot be put, that you've got to
come back in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
If you pull the trigger, you pull the trigger.
Exactly. Yeah.
4 weeks later.
You've got to,
trigger, that's it.
You've got to do the audit. I can see that account. I can see that battle. I can see that log. I can see all the script. Yeah, they cheated. Or no, they didn't actually. This is a false flag. Somebody clearly didn't like that they were beaten by somebody the way that they were beaten. Or oh my God, someone's trying to brigade this account. That's just cooler heads must prevail.
Yep. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the question, because we addressed some of the questions, because the first question was from Oscar Meow about the state of the galaxy. So I think we addressed that question. And so we'll jump into the next question here, because I know Oscar Meow has some other questions. We have a lot of fun questions. Everyone has fun questions.
Depends on what you call fun, Finn. I've seen some other questions.
It's fun for us. It's fun for us. Maybe not fun
Fun.
for the person answering. Is just basically
Fun.
Let's be clear, man. Some of them might be fun from your side of the fence, but I'm not necessarily saying that they're fun from my side of the fence, if you know where I'm coming from, man. All right, let's be clear about this up front, dude. Straight up. Firstly, everyone's asking where Ranger is. Can we answer that first?
Yeah.
We got him super drunk last night. He said, "Dude, I'm starved." I'm not gonna make it. That was him. That's where he ended up. Everyone's asking where Adustra is. Last I heard, Adustra was shooting vodka shots. She was doing shots with us live last night. She did say she was going to join us. She also said she was going to have a raging hangover when she did join us. So stay tuned for that if she does pop in or not. That's
Heinzie, did you break everybody that's supposed to be on the panel last night?
He did. He broke everyone. He broke everyone.
Broke everybody, did you?
Let me think. Okay, so we had Fulbright. Fulbright smashed a bottle and a half of Jack. We had what else did we have? We had Grid smashing shots. Ranger was going right off the whole time. He was smashing a few. We had
and then you got Adustra in the chat.
We had her in the crowd, and she was ripping hard. She was smashing shots. She ran out of wine. She hit vodka. So no, it was a pretty wild night. Actually, to be fair, it was probably just a stock standard Grizzly session. Let's be honest. Just another day at the office for us.
All right, so let's get to the first question here, and we'll go to Nev for the first question from What Else 73. His question is Mon Mothma worth the $20 for the 4-star? Does the extra star really make a difference?
I mean, if you've got the money to spare, I mean, I have seen some I've seen some legitimate arguments that it does make a slight bit of difference. But from what I can tell, she's still a great leader for a timeout team for weaker rebels at 3 stars. It's all about the gear. It really, really is all about the gear and getting some relatively decent mods on her. So, I mean, if you want to pay the extra just to take that star up, by all means, crack on. But unless you're going ham on her, and putting like awesome mods and all of the abilities, to let 7s and putting the Omegas and the Zetas on and taking her gear to 11 in preparation of taking her to 12, I don't see the point. I mean, I didn't do it with I've just taken mine, my Chupio and my Mon Mothma. They're both at 3 stars. They're both at gear 9, and they're both getting holds. So I use them for defensive reasons, not for offensive reasons, and they're doing a pretty good job. So from a free-to-play point of view, I'm not overly concerned about spending crystals to get her to 4 stars. I was with Mando, because Mando at 3 stars was great, but not as good as you go through the stars. I think with Chupio and with Mon Mothma, it's a different story. It's a different kettle of fish. So I'm not going to be wasting crystals on those crystal packs to increase the star count of Mon Mothma or Chupio, because they're solid at 3 stars. So from a free-to-play point of view, it's not worth my crystals, not like it was with Mando. So I guess you could argue that it's not worth it from a pay-to-win point of view. If it's only $10 or $20, then, and you can afford it, if you've got $10 or $20 in disposable income, crack on. I mean, it gives you that little boost before she becomes free to play, and you can farm her for free like everybody else.
Yeah, and I think one of the things to remember too, and Heinzie, I'll get your thoughts on this, is that 3-star to 4-star really is never a huge impact, right? The reason to buy those $20 packs is to get yourself a head start for whenever they're released free to play, or if you're planning on wailing out on them completely, right? The 3-star to 4-star, the stat increases is not that big. So just looking in general, I mean, I can see it to where Nev is saying, because Nev has a whole bunch of accounts and they're at different division levels. So Mon Mothma could make a difference on some of the lower ones. At where you are,
Division 6, she makes a big difference.
It's basically a Rebel Geo team.
Big difference.
So,
it is.
But at a higher level, like Heinzie, for example, are you seeing Mon Mothma effectively being used? I haven't really heard too much about that team being great right now at that high level.
Yeah, look, to be honest, at the end of the day, exactly what you said, 3 to 4 stars in the lower divisions and the lower GP brackets makes certainly a massive difference. Let's be honest. At the level that we're at, if it's not gear 13, you're not using it. I mean, I don't mean to be, rude, but it's true. I mean, really, if you're going to be serious with a character like Mon Mothma, which probably is, I mean, it's not bad, but I don't think it's probably the strongest that's been released lately as far as the character releases that you would use. I still believe that if it's not 7-star and it's not at least gear 12 or above at my level, and I'm talking at my GP level, it's just you're not even going to take it off the bench. It's just going to sit on the bench,
What the hell? I lost all here.
I lost you, Nev. Finn.
No, that's because I was muted. I was just saying that, yeah. I was muting myself because I'm typing here as I'm trying to get all the questions, so I forgot to unmute. But
Can you mute Nev? Can you do that? That'd be great.
I can, yeah. I could.
That'd be great.
But
yeah, that'd be awesome.
We have the voice behind the Heinzie. It is Mr. Scotty McLaren. How are you doing, Scotty?
Very well, thank you. How are you, Finity? It's nice to be here, my friend.
Oh, we've got an even Stevens battle now. Aussies versus US-based people. It's on, young and old, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Did this clown get in here? That's what I want to know. He snuck in the back door. That's some of his best work, I reckon.
Indeed it is, my friend. It's good to see you all. Hello, Finity. It's nice to be on Reality Skewed Gamers, man.
Glad to have you on,
Get the invite. It's nice to get the invite.
You say that now, you'll be sorry.
Yeah, wait until the fun questions start coming for you. And of course, you know what's going to happen, Heinzie. We're going to get requests for Scotty to sing the preload song live. It's bound to happen. I'm just saying, you know that's going to happen. I'm just throwing that out there. So
it's gotta be worthwhile, guys. Come on, throw RSG a bit of a bone if you know what I'm saying. Come on, make it rain a bit. If you can make it worthwhile, because I mean, firstly, if you've got the hotness that is Scotty McLaren on the screen here, there we go, Meow Meow. There we go. That's the stuff that we're talking about. You know where I'm coming from. Meow Meow stepped up. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to sing that song, you may as well make it worthwhile, because I'm not going to be happy, Jan.
Nope, he's not.
Well, it's nice to be here tonight, guys, by the way. It's just really nice to be here.
So do you feel the love? Do you feel the love?
Oh, man, I feel the love.
Could have had a show.
Well, no.
Make some effort.
No,
Jesus.
I knew that I was coming in to see you, bro, so I didn't need
to.
Fair
point.
You like to stroke the furry beast, so it's fine.
All right. We'll get to the next question here for Heinzie. So, Heinzie, question to you from Wolffeld. And question is the TM change more function than an actual benefit? Unless they change the speed bar, it's still going to appear as RNG. You're never going to calculate all the effects on a normal match.
We're not going to be able to, but at the end of the day, it's going to take the RNG out of it. I think that's been the problem up until now. There have been things that up until now, when everyone's 100%, you've got certain characters going before other ones that probably shouldn't or wouldn't, because there was no indicator to put them prioritized against any others. The overflow is a good thing, because that takes it out, takes a little bit more, variation out of the game, makes it more consistent. But it also makes the mods again a little bit more essential, because if you've got two characters the same and you've got one with a faster mod set, that character's now going to go first, whereas in the past it might not have. And I think that's a good thing. I do believe that's been a good move.
There you go.
I agree with that.
I think it's gonna make a different. I think it could have the potential to make a huge difference in PvE, not so much with PvP. PvP tends to be 5-minute battles, timed, quick battles. So unless you are a mathematical wizard and you know exactly what and you know what the overflow is, so there would need to be some kind of QOL change to the turn meter bar that shows a numerical value, not just a physical bar level. That would be very, very useful for PvE, because then you could take your time in battle, work out who's at what, work out what yours at, know meters, so that you could really go to town with strategy and tactics on things like territory battles if you know exactly what the turn meter is and what the turn meter overflow is. But with PvP, yeah, not so much, because it's 5 minutes and doing that, trying to work that what overflow is out in your head, just so that you can know what to do with a character. Yeah, it'd be a pain in the ass, but still good. Excellent things to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's more just conceptually, so you can figure out like how maybe to change your modding up for characters, right? The easiest one, like I mentioned, I made a video on it yesterday, and the easiest one is the Han example, right?
Yeah.
Because Han is getting the full turn meter, and now you can add a little bit of speed to it to make sure that you're faster than your opponent. Even those mods that have only hit speed once, but hit like offense 5 times, like those are potentially very useful mods now for a character like Han, where previously we were just selling them. Right, those little bits of speed may come in handy for some of those characters like Han and Watt that get the bonus turn meter at the start. So, yeah,
it just fine tunes the gray areas that we were worried about earlier on. It's going to be really dead set obvious now. Overall, I think that if your character is the faster one on there, whether it's 100% turn meter or not, it's going to go first. I think it just takes that question mark out of it.
Absolutely, same goes with Darth Revan as well and Thrawn. So at least you always know, which is good.
I did like the additional comment they made on the post, though, which is that Han will always shoot first over Watt. I think that was a really cool thing, because Han should always shoot first.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that additional comment by Chrome on that one, so that was good. Otherwise, Watt would always go before Han, because Watt is just much faster. So, that was really cool. And
this is Max not happy about Scotty shooting first. That's a whole different story. We'll move on from that. Let's not.
Hey, says you, which has got 3 kids.
I was drunk 4 times. What do you expect?
All right, and thank you to Asuka, who donated first the $10, saying, "Can we get the preload song?" Followed by another $10 saying, "Am I the only meow who wants the preload song?" #SadCat. #preload.
Come on, guys, give them some love. Give RSG some love. They're doing good stuff here on a Saturday morning, so give them some love. Scotty can sing it whenever the hell he wants. I can cue it up, man, if you want it. I've got it here.
Is that a challenge, Heinzie? Is it?
Here's this crazy concept. I've got that stupid song all reeled up, ready to go in case.
I'll full screen you when it's time. Don't worry, Scotty. I will full screen you so they can see the live performance. This is a special.
Okay. Finn, you tell me when, brother. I'm ready to rumble.
Are you here for the rest of Jedi Academy, or are you gonna have to leave early, just so I know when to time it?
No, mate. I am here for as long as you will have me.
There we go. Friend. Okay. So I will tell you when, because we have our transition time, and as soon as we get there, we're triggering off the song. Assuming everyone is interested. Right now, it only looks like Asuka. Right now, there's Torin Jax. Torin Jax coming in with $9.99. I'm with Asuka.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
Heinzie.
Keep it coming, man.
Heinzie, mate. Like, I'm like the movie Poltergeist, man. He's here.
Here's Heinzie.
All right, Scotty, let's get you a question.
So you need to speak to someone that's really good at doing those deep fakes, Heinzie. So that they can put your face on Jack Nicholson's face.
I reckon
stick your head through the door and go, "Here's Heinzie."
I reckon after a couple more beers, I could be shabby enough to look like a bit of Jack Nicholson in his drug-fueled heyday. But everyone to their own, I guess.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go down that route, then what you need to do is go to the hardware store, buy yourself a fake door, right, and do a fake scene. Instead of you doing a deep fake, you just need to like drunkenly crash through the door and be like.
I'll use a real one. And just, use some filler and sort it out later. Mars goes bang. There you go.
Mars with the $10. She wants it too.
Bang.
And Nev, don't you know what Heinzie does for a living, man? He actually works in construction, so a door for him is like no problem.
Yeah, a door would be no problem. I'm talking, but you need to make this. Can you, if you work in, can you make a replica of said bathroom from The Shining?
Oh, mate, who said I haven't already got a bathroom that looks like that? You don't know what my looks like.
All right, focus, people, focus. We have okay.
I'll tell you what, though, you're talking about doors. I can easily fix and repair a door because the problem is that with this amount of hotness, I've got chicks kicking down the door every day.
And he has cans of Vegemite, which work perfect for repairs. I've learned that. Vegemite for repairs.
Yep. Yeah, easy.
Okay.
Focus. Let's go.
Okay, Scotty, question to you from Scowist. And the question he has, do you think we may see a new character shard become available as a reward for the new game mode?
I think that it's a possibility, absolutely. And I wouldn't be surprised if we actually start to see some new characters get thrown in there as well, ones that we don't necessarily have. Now, I've been talking a lot to Heinzie about a few of these things, actually, and I actually feel as if the game is now transitioned to a point where there's 3 characters that I think, if you look at theory crafting, could certainly come to the game. The first one is Saw Gerrera, because you don't get a bigger rebel fighter than Saw Gerrera than, right there. Mm-hmm. The other is making Lando viable, and that's Nien Nunb. If we're in Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back content, well then, certainly we need him. And from the third point of view, the other is Leia's dad, is who I was actually thinking about there that could also come in. And now, would that be good currency forms for the brand new game mode? Absolutely. I think you could find those 3 characters, possibly farm through there. CG are known to do this sort of thing. I've only just got a 7-star Darth Malak and relicked him up. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we see new currency being required for new characters.
I'm going to throw out a question here now that this has been brought up, right? And it was something that I've been thinking about for a while, unfortunately. When this new game mode comes out, let's say they don't have character shards off the bat. How suspicious are people that they will introduce a character shard, and will people end up just hoarding this new galactic currency, waiting for a new character, instead of actually spending it on whatever's in the store, like gear of things that we need, like stun guns and the eyeballs and Kyrotechs? Like, will players just with that mentality end up saving or spending? Like, which would you recommend, just thinking about what CG has done in the past? We'll start with you, Scotty.
I would recommend that you save it straight away, because you don't know what's coming. You don't know what they're going to throw out there around the corner. So that's what I would be doing with it. There are other places to farm the new gear, and other forms of gear as well. But if there's brand new gear that you'd be required to use that currency for, I'd probably always recommend to err on the side of caution and hang on to what you've got. It's the same with the Galactic, the GAC currency that we currently get. I'm hoarding that as much as I can now as well, because you just don't know what's going to be around the corner.
Yeah. Nev, what do you think?
I think the subject to change line in the post is very important and very telling when, I don't think that they'll introduce a currency. I genuinely don't think that they will introduce a new currency and introduce a new store. There are already too many stores. There just are. There are too many stores. This is a feature that is going to be introduced at level 60. And I'm not saying for 1 minute that that people who go free to play and don't, because you're either free to play, which means you're not going to access this until you're level 60, or you're buying the hyperdrive bundles, one or the other. You're not going to whale, so you're one or the other.
I counter that by the fact that they haven't changed any of the characters in any of those shard stores at all for a long, long time, and they've said that they never will. But with the amount of new characters that have actually come into this game, and they haven't actually put any of those characters in as farmable characters in any of the stores, I counter that by saying that could definitely happen.
But it is interesting what you're saying, though, Nev, because we saw, at least in the data mine, right? The data mine just had image files that were saved up, but they did have the new currency there. So do you think that was thrown in there and they may change that, or...
I thought that my feelings regarding the new currency were it was the currency that you were going to get in order to access the event, and that they've reversed that. They've changed their minds on that, and they're just making it okay, anybody can do it as long as they're over level 60.
Okay.
I think that the currency was what you needed to do the event, and you would get the currency by doing the dailies. So a bit like the Kylo and
the tickets for the Galactic Legends.
Just like the tickets for the Slacker and the GL Ray event, you would have to have a certain amount of tickets in order to be able to do certain, whatever said tier of the event. That's what I felt that was going to happen with. That's why I wasn't particularly happy about it, but that's what I felt was going to happen with the GCs, was that you would get the currency required to do it by doing various different aspects of your dailies. So if you needed 100, it would be like, you do this daily, you get 10, you do this daily, you get 10, you do this daily, you get 10. So if you don't do all of your dailies in a day and you only had 90 out of 100, you wouldn't get to do the event that day. It would roll over to the next day, and the second you got 10, then you'd be able to do it for that day. So it was kind of like pushing people to play the game longer in the day so that they would be able to do it at the end of the day. That's what I felt was more geared towards that currency. Making an entirely new store and putting entirely new characters in it is a
CG tactic.
Is a legitimate is a legitimate speculation. I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening. Because the legacy, I'll just refer to the legacy stores where you can still get characters. Somebody that is just starting out in the game still has to get all of the characters necessary from those stores by collecting that currency and farming those characters. It's those legacy stores and those legacy characters are only irrelevant to us as veteran players. We're the ones, the veteran players that have been playing this game for donkey. I mean, I'm like most people that have been playing this game for 5 years. I have every single character in every single one of those stores. So that those stores to me are useless. So would I love to see a new store with a dozen of the new characters in it that I can farm for? Yeah, I would. I'd love to see something like that. I just don't think it's going to happen, because that would be overkill for new people coming into the game. It's like, it would just be too many stores, I think. Plus, I think that CG, I'm hoping that when you look at the latest farm that they just created, which was the Rebel Y-Wing and the Carl Weathers node, I mean, that's a beautiful node. Hopefully, they start doing that more. They start giving us double farmable nodes with a decent piece of gear on it. We want more Carl Weather Jango Fett nodes. Double nodes. Give us double nodes with a piece of good gear on it, and we won't care about the we won't care about the store, because you're farming a node and you've got a good chance of getting 3 good things: a good ship, a good character, and a good piece of gear. Carl Weathers node.
Carl Weathers node. All right, Heinzie, what are your thoughts on?
Firstly, it's always going to be Galactic Apollo Creed to me. That's just me, right?
That's the way I'm thinking of it. He's Apollo Creed to me.
Apollo Creed every day of the week, brother. Don't you worry about that.
He's always going to be Chubbs McGavin for me.
Oh, I love it. I love that movie. It's the best. Happy Gilmore's quality. Okay. All right. So they made this currency, whether they were using it for an unlock or not, it's irrelevant now because you don't need it. So have they not intended it for that, or are they going to rework it so that it's usable in some way, shape or form? They're not going to create a new currency for fun and games. They have people there who deal with the economy of the game. So they're always creating currency in bits and pieces. What I would like to see is that we've been complaining a hell of a long time now about a gear crunch that we have, guys. You know what I'm talking about. You're talking about stun guns. You're talking about carbantis. You're talking about Kairos. You're talking about all that stuff that we all need, and it's getting harder and harder to get as we want to build our characters up. I would love to see something like that included in it. Doesn't need to be a crazy amount, but anything's better than nothing. The crunch is still there. It has been for some time. They promised they were going to ease it. I don't believe that's happened. I think they brought Kairos in and made it worse. One thing with bringing characters into that type of currency, or tying more characters to that new currency, CG don't make money out of that. We have to remember that, guys. They make money out of marquees. They make money out of Galactic Legends. They make money out of those type of events, and they're going to maximize every character release that they can, because if they don't, it doesn't look good in their bottom line. And giving it away in a currency for daily challenges every day to keep people playing the game, I just don't think it's enough.
But is it? So to that point though, Heinzie, if the different tiers are what you need in order to get the currency, right? And the highest tiers require you to have like relic 6 and 7s of a specific faction, and those are only available in like a couple days a week, right? But it's going to rotate, so there are a whole bunch of factions that you're going to need in order to get the bonuses, right? So isn't that where they would make the money? Because we've seen this, right? To your point, we've seen this exact template in the guild event store, right? Where we got the get one tokens, we were using them for gear. Like, we were using them for gear. We were getting stun guns in there. We were getting some of the eyeballs. I mean, we weren't getting Kyrotech, but we were getting a bunch of gear. Then they introduced Malik, and then they introduced Gas. They did. Right?
Yeah, they did.
So I think that's what a lot of the fear is that they release this new store, right? And it looks like it's just a whole bunch of gear. And then all of a sudden they throw a character in there and just we're like, damn, we should have just been safe.
We're programmed, unfortunately, we're programmed to expect the worst, are we not? I mean, you know, it's not ideal, but we are. But we've gotten to the point now that we're programmed to expect, you know what? We're going to get a new currency and we're going to need it because they're going to drop something on it that we don't have ready. And that's always been the concern in the back of every one of our, you know, more senior players or, you know, more, you know, that have been playing, you know, for 2-3 years. You guys know what the go is. You know that you never know what to expect. Whatever you think's going to happen, then they go bang, and you ripped a new one. It's happened to all of us. Let's be fair. But unfortunately, we're programmed to keep currency for a while at least, if not longer. I personally like having a stockpile of some sort. I'm not saying have a stupid amount because it can then affect the farming that can fast track some of your other roster and characters as well. So I personally like having what I would call a buffer.
Buffers are, it's the smart thing to do is to have a buffer.
Yeah, have a buffer that if something drops, you're reasonably prepared for it. Might not be the whole lot, but at least you're reasonably prepared. You're on the right track, so you don't get caught out too hard. Perfect example is I've always got, you know, like 20 to 30K of GET2 sitting there. Any more than that, I'm not going to see a use for that myself in the short term. So then I'll start getting some more Gear 13 goodies and, you know, golden bits and pieces that are hard to get. Kairos, maybe I normally just wail on them because they're a pain in the butt, the farm. But that's just me. Everyone to their own. But at the end of the day, having a stockpile of all those currencies, a reasonable stockpile, not a crazy hoard, reasonable stockpile, I think that's sort of, you know, what we should be expecting people to do.
Yeah, which comes back to my original point of holding on to it for, you know, the first 3 to 4 months and seeing what happens.
Scotty's always holding on to it.
All right, we're going to go back up to the top here, and we're going to go to Nev. So, Nev, we were talking about the cheating earlier and the interview that you did. So this is a question related to that. So Wolfbell has a question. Said, did your interview ever adjust what he had said he had spent on the game? And do you think that could be a reason why CG gave people the benefit of the doubt? So do you think spending has influenced the person that you spoke to, right? Did their spending habits change? And in general, do you think that spending habits influence CG's decision?
I do absolutely think that I do think that spending habits would. I do think that spending habits would. I mean, if you're a Kraken or a Leviathan and you're spending, you know, like if you're one of the people that are spending like literally tens of thousands yearly, if not hundreds of thousands yearly on this game, you are, for all intents purposes, the Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epsteins of the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes community. Doesn't matter what you do, you're never going to get punished. And if you do get punished, it's going to look like a slap on the wrist. Okay, so there are people within the game that spend so much money, it doesn't matter what they do. You know, they are the people that it's like, well, I've spent 100,000 on this, I shouldn't lose. I'm going to use an APK hack, and if I get caught, I'll just say, well, do you want me to keep spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on this game? Because you know, if you do, then unban me now. You know, but when it comes to just
Can I butt in at some point? Sorry. I'll let you keep going, Nev. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I want to answer. No, I want to respond when you're done. Sorry. Yeah, you go.
No. Yeah. Go ahead if you've got a rebuttal.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, firstly, let's start that, you know, Kraken didn't hang himself. Let's be clear. Let's start with that, like Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so that's out the way.
Wait, what?
Okay, right now.
What? Wait. We're gonna like just drop the entire. No, this is really.
You've been marked now, man. YouTube's watching. They're listening hard. Okay, all right. Now, long story short, let's go there. Let's go the Kraken. I don't believe that's the case. I mean, obviously, I know a lot of whales. I know a lot of Krakens. I'm a spender. You guys know this. This is nothing new, right? I expect no better treatment, and I expect no better any type of favoritism in any way, shape, or form between me and someone that's 2, 3, 4 mil GP or whatever else. I do not expect that. I never would expect that because that's not what this game's built around. If people are cheating, it doesn't matter how much they spend. It's not good enough. It's as simple as that. I don't care. If they spend 10 grand, I don't care if they spend 100 grand. If they're caught cheating, I want them gone.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but there is always an elite that escapes.
Yeah, but the point is, I don't want them to escape like you.
I don't want them to. I'm not saying I want them to escape. I'm saying that it happened. I didn't say at any point, there's a bunch of people at the top, the elite, and that I want them. I said that they will. I didn't say that I want them to. I disagree with it.
I understand you're saying they will. I don't, at the end of the day, that for me, as someone who does invest into this game, both time, finance, and all that sort of stuff, that embarrasses me as someone that spends in this game actively and does the right thing. A lot of
but I'm not talking about the levels of spending of you. I'm talking about the levels of spending that's 10 times what you are.
It's irrelevant. That's my point. It's irrelevant. Yes, they spend. If someone spends 100K and they stuff up, and someone comes to me and can prove it, I'll complain about it. They should be gone. No questions asked.
Yes, they should be, but they're not.
Yeah, I think I think you both are saying the same thing, but I think Heinze, you both are saying the same thing. I think Heinze, you would agree with this. That ideally, I think we're all on the same page, but we know realistically,
quality in the terms of
we know realistically, even just in the real world, right? Like we all have these general things where it's like bad people should be punished, but we know sometimes your socioeconomic standing or just your power and what position you hold, like these things all, unfortunately, just as a real life situation, right? They play a role. And despite this being a game, right, we view it as a game, right? And we've talked about this before. It is maybe the disconnect between players and the developers, right? Because we view it as a game, and as a gamers, we just want everything to be an even playing field, right? They view it as a business. Right, so they're trying to see monetarily what is in their best interest. They can't let cheaters just get away with it, but they also don't want to sacrifice heavy incomes if that's what it is.
No.
And I'm not saying it's good, but that's where the disconnect is, right, between the players and the developers as a business and how they handle things just from a real world perspective.
That's the thing that really drives me mad. That really pisses me off because at the end of the day, look, I'm not saying I spend 100 grand because I don't, because that's just some people do that, and good on you for doing that. But the thing that really annoys me is that everyone's expecting that if you spend 100K, you can get away with everything. Hell's to the no. I don't care. I really don't care. Yeah. And we're on the same point, Nev. Absolutely. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of good people that do invest in this game. They enjoy this game. They love their guild, and they really want to max out their rosters to mainly help their guild. And I'm one of those people, as well as enjoy the game and have fun and play at the top end, fair and square, and not have any idiots in there that think they're above the law. And that's just a general thing. And you're right, that's society in general. You have good people and bad people getting away with things that they shouldn't. That's just society, and that's just human emotion, and that's human behavior. What I'm saying
100%.
is...
Lance Armstrong.
Let me can I just jump in for a sec and say, and I'm going to say this, I'm 100% with Heinze. I mean, like, nothing annoys me more than knowing that you're playing this game and that there's cheaters that are out there and you come up against them and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, you go up against them in the GAC, you go up against them in territory wars even, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, you've come at a loss because of, the malpractice of certain people. And then I get it that it's a business decision that these people are still allowed to play the game. But having said that, if it's one rule that's good for them, it's one rule that's good for all.
Yep. It's not rocket science. It really isn't. It doesn't matter if you don't spend a dime or if you spend 100K. It's simple. If someone's an idiot and does the wrong thing, bugger off. We don't want
Ben
you here.
Johnson. Ben Johnson.
I know. Hey, dude, I'm an Australian, man. I'm not going to get that political. I'm not going there.
But I'm going to say, what
Ben
if we
Johnson's
did this?
a Canadian.
We haven't actually gone down this route before, and maybe this is something worth having a little bit of discussion on. We still have a few more questions, and we'll get to everybody's questions here as you cue them up. But we haven't had this deep a discussion, honestly, about the cheating, and I think we're all aware of what the reality is versus what we would want, right? And we've seen certain things show up, maybe in smaller environments, which may end up being something that maybe CG would consider for this. So they're, and in some ways, not putting the entire burden just on them, right? And the idea is that it's not just CG maybe making the decisions, right? There have been in smaller environments, right? There are some businesses that do this, but it is a combination of employees and management as a council coming up with certain decisions, right? That way it's not just about the management type of decision that CG would make, right? There's also a morale, there's a employee kind of satisfaction part of this, which in this case is the players, right? We're effectively their customer base. So what if, just throwing this idea out, what if they created kind of like a little council where there's Leviathan and Lucifer's daddy, who are ultimately going to be the decision makers, but they have a small council of like 3 to 5 players that they know or trust or whatever that review the case with them, right? Because we know each situation is a little bit different, right? Sometimes there may be some considerations, not money, but maybe there are some considerations that go into what happened and the reason, and maybe it was just a hack that they didn't realize was a hack and somebody else told them about. I mean, there's situations for everything. So what about an idea of a little bit of a players' council to assist CG?
Yeah,
here's an idea.
The players at the top would still avoid that.
Here's an idea. How about you don't come out with a post saying you've got zero tolerance towards cheating and then actually have tolerance towards it?
Okay, well, CG saying thing and doing something else, unfortunately, has been something that has been there for 5 years now. So
subject to change.
Everything is subject to change.
Everything is subject to change.
We've unfortunately had this discussion. Their communication
CG
has definitely.
Are gonna CG.
Yeah, CG has. Yeah, but
then that ends up with egg on your face. I mean, because then you look like it's malpractice, and then you look at the dodgy back dealings of how Capital Games first started, and there's some many articles about how Capital Games first became an actual company. This is even prior to EA. If you go and have a look at it, you'll notice that there's a lot of malpractice and a lot of dodgy things that are going on at that particular studio before they became Capital Games. So now it all comes back to malpractice. And this is the thing that I'm getting at, that, that's malpractice. The people that are in charge of letting these people continue to play the game for a financial benefit are the ones that need to fall on their sword. I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we can have it might be even worthwhile to have just a bigger discussion, not on specific instances, right? And I know the most recent one, Nev, you showed really wasn't a case of cheating, but I think we're all aware that cheating is still available out there, right? There's a limit on what they can do with APK hacking just simply because of the system. And regardless of whatever, right, we know that the cheaters are above the people that are catching them, right? It's always going to be a little bit of lag there. But how they actually do the punishment, how they enforce it, is definitely a big part of the community. And it may be worth a bigger discussion, maybe a different stream. We won't go too much more into this now. I know we've been on this topic for a little bit, but I mean, maybe it is worthwhile to have a bigger, more in-depth discussion with a lot of different voices to get their thoughts on it. Maybe if CG is not going to do kind of like the Players Council thing, right? Maybe we do that. We as content creators and just members of the community put together just our thoughts on how CG should handle different cheating situations, right? And if we have examples, we can come up with that.
Yeah, it'd be great to have some sort of a player's mouthpiece of some sort, of the player's side of things. You could have a collective group of people that support the game and want it to be really great. Also bring up issues that arise and have a good open dialect communication. People that are trusted and know the game really well and obviously quite mature about it. You could call them like a game changer program or something. I don't know. You can call it whatever you want. At the end of the day, but yes, you could have a trusted group of people that actually are passionate and have an actual direct communication I think that at the moment there is certainly a disconnect there on a lot of issues. That specifically is one of them. That's the focal point.
Talking, Finn, I agree. Talking about it's good, but all talk and no action is just us regurgitating the same stuff that we've been regurgitating for years.
It is.
So if you wanted to take your idea and extend to it, let's take a group of the people within the community, the most trusted members of the community, and create a council and say, oh, I think this person cheated. And you go to the council and you say, we think this person's cheated, and here's the evidence, here's the battle logs, here's this, here's that. As a trusted group of people within the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes community, could you take my instance of cheating to CG, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about something? Because just talking about it and just talking about it in content does nothing.
It does, but if we don't try, then nothing's going to happen. That's one of those. If you had a group of 12 to 24 people who were prepared to put their love buds on the line regarding, okay, yeah, I will go. You've told me that this person is cheated. I'll put my neck on the line and go to CG and say, we think this person is cheated. You need to look into them and you need to ban them because we suspect them. You need to do an audit of this account to confirm or refute whether they cheated.
I'll go one step further than that, Nev. These people that are cheating, man, they need to be exposed as to who they are, because CG at the moment,
and you can expose them after the fact.
I think Nev's thing is we make sure that basically he's saying we have a barrier of players that review the case to verify that there was cheating, right? Because one of the unfortunate things,
CG,
exactly.
Then you ask CG to do the audit. If CG does the audit and goes, yeah, thanks for bringing this to our attention, they have cheated, then you expose the person. If you expose somebody and accuse them of cheating, like the person that we did our video about, and then you find out that they didn't actually cheat, too late. The damage has already been done. You've called that person a cheater publicly when they did not cheat. And that's what I'm talking about. If you want to create a council of people who the general SWGOH community can go to and say, hey, look, I fought this guy in GAC and I think they cheated because I had this defense, and all of a sudden they beat me and got like 50, they got 58 banners when they clearly shouldn't have. It should have been in the 40s or something like that. You take the battle log, you go to a group of 12 to 24 people, you set it up as a Discord server, people plead their case to you, you go yay or nay. If you agree and there's a majority say, yeah, this looks suspicious, then you as a group of the community that is respected, that CG would recognize as, oh my God, we've got a group of the most respected people within the SWGOH community here, and they're saying that this person cheated. Yes, Lucifer's daddy, Lucifer's daddy comes, yes, I will do an audit of that account. Lucifer's daddy confirms with an audit that they cheated, or he confirms that they did not cheat, goes back to the council, and then it's like, yeah, this person did cheated, we're going to ban them. And then, like you just said, Scotty, they get exposed. If they didn't cheat, nothing is said. It doesn't go any further, because exposing somebody that you suspect of cheating that has been proven to not cheat in GAC should never be exposed. Not even, and the allegation should not be exposed. No,
I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that. But having said that, in a situation that I've actually seen arise where an account has been banned, I'm still none the wiser on whether or not this particular person cheated or not, because I took it to CG, and CG are yet to respond to me on this particular account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still don't know.
Yeah. And that's you. What I'm saying is, if you've got a large enough group within the community, a large enough popular group, respected members within the community, all simultaneously going with the exact same thing to that one same individual person, Lucifer's daddy, or Leviathan, and saying we want this person checked, and we want to know if they've cheated, and if they've cheated, drop the ban.
I don't think that Lucifer's daddy or Leviathan are the people to take it to.
Well, if they do, fine. If they don't, they don't. But you can't say, let's not do it because I don't think that they won't do it. Okay. This is why I'm talking about actually acting on what we're saying. If you and other people are deadly serious about catching and exposing cheaters in GAC so that they get perma banned, then actually act on what you're. Don't just let's not do it because they might not say it. They might just ignore 24 members, prominent members of the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes community because it's Lucifer's daddy and Leviathan. It's like, fine, then don't put together a group of 24 people, but don't say, they're inconsistent, unless you come up with another method to try and expose cheaters so that they get permanently banned for cheating within GAC. Great. If you don't want to try anything else, then it's just like more hot.
It's just like hockey, right? If you can have the best goalie in the net, but if you have no shots on goal, you're not getting a shot, right? At some point, you just have to try something and hope that it makes its way through. And I mean, we'll have a bigger discussion. We'll kind of continue this on a maybe a different stream and discussion, because I think it is a topic worth talking about. We'll talk a little bit more, because I think getting ideas together and trying to do something is never a bad thing. We know CG may or may not listen, right? But we're hoping that they do. And maybe if we do things in an organized way to show them that we're serious about it, it's not just people always reporting. It's not just people complaining on Reddit. It's not just like these random posts that I lost and I think he's cheating because I haven't lost before. Like, I've seen those kind of complaints too. But I mean, we don't have anything on the player side to really investigate outside of GG, right? GG is our only recourse right now to investigate.
There's no player's voice,
exactly,
so to speak.
Yeah. So at some point, I mean, we'll make the player's voice. Whether CG cares to listen to it or not, we'll have to see. At least with some of the new content that they're coming at, it looks like they're listening, right? They have started to move some things in the direction that players were talking about. We'll see what they do with the quality of life changes, hopefully, that come with TU20. Hopefully there are some. But we'll continue this on, I know, because we could continue this for a long time, I'm sure, this discussion. But we will look to do something a little bit more in depth about that and try to put together something a little bit more formalized for the player's voice. But I'm glad that we had this discussion at least, and we got some ideas out, and we'll kind of continue to build on it and see ultimately where this leads. And yes, Nev is calling for a Senate.
It's a passionate topic. I mean, that's the point. It's certainly something that's still quite raw, still quite secretive. And I think that we just want to get to the point where it's a little bit more transparent, so that we know that if someone's doing the wrong thing, we know it's being made aware of and acted upon.
Yep.
Which at the moment, everything's just too much in the shadows. And when things pop up that are blatantly obvious that the wrong thing's been done, we're going to jump on it because we've got nothing else to refer to.
Yep. Okay. So with that, we are just over the halfway mark. So make sure that you guys, if you haven't already, I hope you guys are enjoying this discussion. We answer your questions, but we also go into a lot of different topics. And I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion with, again, this great group of people here on the panel. So if you guys do, make sure you hit that thumbs up. We still have more, so you can still get in your questions. We're going to continue the questions here with Heinze. So Heinze, question to you from Wilmo18.
Wilmo!
And question to you, what is the secret to Rey mirrors? I can beat every Kylo on my shard, but I can't seem to beat a single Rey. I'm using Ultimate Rey, Kenobi, Jedi Knight Revan, Jedi Knight Luke, and Watt.
Kenobi. Okay, so we're talking 5v5 to start with, not 3v3.
He's talking about Arena. Yes, he's talking about Arena.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Again, the only surefire thing is obviously Supreme Leader Kylo against any sort of raid team at the moment still. The mirrors are quite difficult in those sorts of things. So he was using Wat Tambor, good start. Feeding the I think it's the attack tech, I think, to Rey helps a bit. Timing the ultimate ability is the key there. You want to time it after, like you want to slow a Rey against a faster Rey if possible, so that when the ultimate, the cross the swords happens, you can then cross the swords afterwards, so that when she does the ultimate ability, it does 0 damage against your team. And then obviously it's gone by the time that you pull the trigger on your ultimate, and then obviously just wear them down. It's a very, very... Mirror matches on Rey are like Jedi Knight Revan mirrors used to be. They were pretty nasty. They take forever, and there's still no set win result. Whereas, if you use Kylo, it's a done deal with the right lineup.
So, yeah. It's... Hopefully that helped Wilmo. I know, basically it just sucked.
Yeah, it's not nice. It's not pretty.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I hate
It doesn't
Galactic
have to be
Legends.
pretty, though, does it?
It just has to be. It has to work.
It just has to be effective. It doesn't have to
That's
be
pretty much
pretty.
what
It
it is.
just
It has to work.
to be
Yeah.
effective, you know?
Yeah.
It's like sex, you know? It doesn't have to look pretty. It just has to be effective.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it Bryrus out there? I did say cross swords, and what I mean is obviously trigger the ultimate ability from Ray.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know,
The innuendo is
in
right.
this particular group, crossing swords with this particular group. I don't know about you guys, but it sounds pretty damn messy to me.
We're not on Twitch. I thought I'd ask people to cross their swords in chat, but okay.
Yeah, yeah. Let's.
all right.
I'm trying to keep it clean as tough. I'm finding it very difficult thing to try and keep this reasonably mature. I'm not going to lie, man. I'm up against it today. I'm doing the best I possibly can. I'm sorry.
All right.
That's because I'm here. That's why.
Yeah. That's
Speaking
what
of which, we have a question for Scotty now. So, Scotty, question to you from Darth Scion 1972. He says, how will the changes to turn meter by CG affect PvE content? Will this also affect TB and the challenge tiers?
Be right back, guys. I
Okay.
need a coffee.
No worries.
Okay, mate. I would assume that it will affect the TB and also the challenge tiers as well. I mean, like, I think that it'll be. I think it's a positive change, to be honest. Especially when you've got like the Night Sister challenges that we just had up against Darth Sidious, knowing when he's about to go, so that you can put that nice little bit of protection on yourself to stop him from absolutely annihilating your team will come in quite handy, I feel. So knowing the changes and the way that the speed's going to work for you and the way that everything's working out for you, I think it's a dead set positive change, Finn.
Yeah. Heinzie, any different thought on that?
I'm just wondering when you're going to put the afro on, bro. But anyway, I agree. I mean, certainly, PvE, again, the turn meter, I think, again, it just takes that little bit more RNG out of it. Challenge tier, perfect example. You can load up, obviously, before Sidious goes ape, goes crazy. That's certainly a good explanation. The Han one you've already explained as well, man. Shooting first and getting that sort of lineup more PvP-wise makes sense. But, yeah, it just takes that little bit more RNG out of it where the game is just so RNG heavy as it is. I think that if you can minimize that little bit, it's not going to hurt. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially going up against the Reek in territory battles as well, knowing when that's going to go. And knowing when to get you trampled off and who to get you trampled off onto and how you're going to work all that. I think it's a perfect thing. It's perfect. It's what we need.
Okay. Let's go to the next question then. So I know Nev stepped away, so Heinzie will do the next one for you here.
Yes, sir.
So question from Bill Buttlicker. So he says,
Billy
William Buttlicker, Esquire the Third.
Call him whatever you want. He's Billy Buttlicker.
All right.
Give it to Nev. Nev's back. Give it to Nev. Nev's back.
I
back.
see what you did there too, Finity. By the way, man. Can I just say, Bill and Ted number 3, bring it on.
Oh yeah.
All right. So Nev is back. So Nev, give this to
Yes.
you. So Bill Buttlicker, question now. With the launch of Galactic Challenges, are you excited about the new game mode?
I'll say what I said yesterday. I will reserve judgment until it comes out because I've been disappointed. Sometimes you just get, you build up an expectation of what you're going to get, and then you're disappointed with the final result. So I will reserve judgment until it comes out. But the second that game mode comes out, I will be playing it. I will go live, and I'm going to do it on all 4 of my accounts so that we can see just how good Galactic challenges are at a low level and at a higher level, because I've got a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 6 division GAC account, and I'm going to try that. I'm going to try the GCs across all 4 to see if it's as fun a low 1.6, 1.7 million GP account as it is for something that's 4.3, 4.4.
I'm excited about it. I really am. The game needs something like this, I think, and I'm really excited about it. And let's be honest, like lately, I'd say in the last 2.5 to 3 months, I got to say, man, the CG have actually, I'm pretty positive. I'm feeling very positive about where this game's gone. The Darth Vader rework was sensational. The release of Mon Mothma, the release of Chewbacca and 3PO is absolutely sensational. And this is brilliant. And the fact that they're actually taking the RNG away with the speed, they're knocking it out of the park. They're giving us everything that we want right now. What are they going to throw at us next? That's my problem.
I mean,
that's going to kill the buzz.
Well, I don't know if we will, right? They said something that, I mean, it might have got lost in kind of the Galactic Legend post, right? But I don't want to lose sight of it, which is they mentioned that with this new update, they are integrating things in a way that will allow them to get out new content faster, right? He made a note of that. I mean, we all focus on the galactic challenges, and reasonably so. Those are the shiny pictures that keep on flashing on the screen. And so, of course, that's what we look at. But he did say, Top Hat mentioned, that the new setup should hopefully get for new events. So maybe that is going to get us what we really want, which is like that new raid every so often, right? We've been stuck on the Sith raid where actually most of us are waiting just to be able to sim those at this point, right? Just get it over with so we don't have to deal with it. I mean, those are the things that I am, I guess, maybe really excited about. Like Galactic Challenges, I'm excited about, but I still see them as just being one battle kind of events, right? I don't think it's going to be as immersive as like the CLS or the Darth Revan or the like Jedi Knight Luke events, right? To really capture what happened on the Death Star, what happened on Malachor or Tatooine or any of these places, right? They're going to be battles with that as the atmosphere. I think it's going to be a really fun matchup, but I'm really waiting for whatever the next real kind of like raid is. The real immersive content is what I am waiting for, and I'm fine with Galactic Challenges for now, but if they come out with the Death Star raid next,
I'm right there with you, Finn. I'm right there with you. I'm really hoping that the guys that because they had developers working on the Death Star raid. They said back in October that they had people working on it, and it was only in February that they said that they were mothballing it because of Galactic Legends. Now, some people speculated that, the GLs the release of the GLs pre-broke the a Death Star ship raid, and my response to that was the GLs don't have ships, how could they break it? Shut up, you're talking rubbish. So I just hope that they that the developers that were working on that Death Star raid can maybe tweak it here and there with the new Unity update. They might be we wanted to do this with the ship Death Star raid. We couldn't do it with the old Unity, but we can do it with the new Unity. And we wanted to do this, but we couldn't with the old, but we can with the new. So I'm really hoping that with the new Unity update and with the new engine at the devs' disposal, that they can, dust off the code for the Death Star ship raid and get back to it. And maybe we still can get it before the end of this year, like they speculated back in October of last year. They said in the October of last year, we will have a ship raid in 2020, maybe towards the end of 2020. And then our hopes were dashed when they said they were mothballing it at the beginning of this year. With Unity update, it would be, I mean, can you imagine how awesome would 2020 be by the end of it if we've got this new Galactic Challenges and they give us a ship raid? I mean, it would just be awesome. It would be so good.
Well, I mean, I'd agree with that. And in saying that, like if we're getting the Death Star in this particular Galactic Challenges, then, the code is kind of already there. So we can already look at that. But something else, though, that I want to throw out there is that, sure, I'm going to throw it out there, Finn. I'm sorry, man, but I'm going to do it. Sandbox mode. Please, please, please give us that. That's all I want. That's all I want. I want to throw my Cara Dune, who's currently, level, 4 stars, into a Rolo team and see what she does. I want to keep testing it and, playing around with that. So I want to be able to do that up against decent characters. I want to throw my Mon Mothma in with maybe a Zated POW to see what it does and have some fun with that. I want to be able to do these sorts of things so that I can test these things and, get it out there. Why not?
Could Galactic Challenges be that, though? because it's a repeatable thing that everyone could do, right? Could galactic challenges be their answer for Sandbox?
No.
You guys you wouldn't accept that, right? If they gave us
Absolutely
a battle,
not. No, it's a fixed opposition.
Okay, so you want variable opposition when you do these. You want to face certain teams and be able to customize it that way.
Finn, the way that I see a sandbox mode, man, is that you've got Galactic Legends, right? And I say to you, dude, can you put your Ray team in there? And I want to have a crack at your Ray team. I want to see what I can do to knock down your Ray team. And then I just go in and just go battle after battle after battle after battle after battle at you, and then go, oh, okay, that didn't work. Sorry, dude. Thanks, mate. Thanks very much. Let's have some more fun. And, you tell me what you want me to put out there for you so that you can do that. That's the way I see a sandbox mode working. Or you could have an inter-guild challenge, with a sandbox mode. Yeah, like an inter-guild challenge, like where Heinzie, I'd say to Heinzie, put your mum out there for me, mate, and he would.
The reason I bring that up, right? the main reason I bring this up is because we do have I think some groundwork to say that CG is probably not very high on a sandbox, right? So I don't think they find that it's going to be worth their time. They basically come out and said this numerous times. I know players want it. So I'm trying to think of if they are in some ways trying to release game modes that have multi-purpose, right? Now, we're at the point now where this is going to be a game mode where we get unlimited attempts, right? It is against a set team, so you're right about that. But we do get unlimited attempts on a particular mob of a high-level difficulty that should allow us to test out a team, right? It's not the exact sandbox mode, but could this be something that they're working in direction where just moving forward we have more things where it's unlimited attempts? If you want to do the attempts, you can do it over and over again. You don't expend energy. You get the attempts, unlike Galactic War, where once you're done type of thing.
Higher tenacity on characters and taking them up to like level 85 or level 90, but they're still like gear 10, 11, isn't a sandbox mode for mine.
That's fair. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand the request for sandbox. We have it in some other games, so I definitely completely understand the fun of it.
Finn, I'll have the same conversation with you that I had with Flair a couple of weeks ago. I came up with I came up with a viable solution to a sandbox mode, but from
make friends on your squad arena.
I'll chat with you about it later because it was a 2-hour long conversation with Flair. It'd take far too long to explain.
All I want to be able to do is have Scotty in my guild, right, and then go, Scotty, I just want to go head to head and kick your ass and have some fun doing that. I know. Because you can.
Yeah, it's not something that they're ever going to do within the confines of this game.
It won't be in this game. I know you mentioned it before. SWGOH 2 potentially, and I remember you talking about like a SWGOH 2 potentially where they do that and add some of the features. So yeah.
No. Not a SWGOH 2.
Oh, okay.
Not a SWGOH 2. A complete, like you've got game changer programs and like you've got that there would literally be a sandbox app. That's it. Nothing else.
Just a separate app. Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Just a separate app that was either one mode, GAC or Squad Arena. And as long as your account is logged into it, you can go against whoever you want, whenever you want, however many times you want, for as long as you want. And that's it. It is a one function app. But you can only join said app if you have an account. And the way CG make money out of it is simply because it's a sandbox. If somebody comes up with, oh, okay, we've got this, you need this character, this character, this character, and this character to beat this bunch of 5, but they need to be at this gear level. It's like, oh, great, okay, so that's what I need to spend on that character in order to do it. I don't need to download that app and play, I don't need to download the Sandbox app and play that, but I do need to do X, Y, and Z. So,
If that's the case, they can monetize it, man, by making us all pay $10.99 for the Sandbox app.
Yep.
I'd pay that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. See, we came up with another solution. Hooray! We are on a roll today.
Sandbox app.
Sandbox app. All right, next question. Let's go to Heinzie for this one. So
Yes,
Heinzie,
sir.
it's a similar question than we had before, so we'll let you kind of see if you want to build on this. What L 73 says, should we hoard until we see the requirements for galactic challenges, or should we start building now? So like the teams and for the different tiers, should we start gearing or just wait?
Well, it depends on your roster and what level you are. I mean, that's a hard question to answer because it depends on who's got what. At the end of the day, it's one of those things where that's what she said. That's one of those things that you never know. Lots of love to Mrs. Mac, by the way. Do give us some love for me when you come back, Scotty. Okay, now at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it depends on your roster. I don't think I would focus on, okay, you need this, and this yet, especially initially, because we don't quite know the workings. We still don't know what's going to be really effective. We still don't know exactly what's required and what's going to work and what isn't yet. The whole idea of this exhibition, and don't forget, this is going to be an exhibition, guys. This isn't locked in yet. This is just mainly so that their gameplay works more than anything else. It's more of a, open beta test, really, isn't it? I mean, let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. So at the end of the day, I would just be focusing on the characters that you want to currently focus on anyway. I'm myself always one that does say to people, farm what you like, not what you need to do within reason. I like having a little passion project that I like farming and working on. That would be amazing. That everyone should be doing that to keep themselves sane and not get so down on a gear grind, which, can be pretty heavy. So farm what you like, farm what you want. Work out after these sorts of events have been released what works and what doesn't, what's popular, what's not. And then cater your own farming to that as you normally would around any type of content, really.
Yeah, I mean, as with most new game modes or most new things that kick in, let the theory crafters get to it.
Yep.
The best way forward is let your Ians and your Klessos and your End All Beals, let them get to grips. McMole, yeah, let your top end, let our high end theory crafters get to grips with the new game mode, because I mean, one of the things I know that I'm contemplating getting to grips with a little bit more is my Utini bomb. One of my accounts has a Utini bomb, and one of them is going to be you against separatists. The example was showing geos. If you've got to fight geos a couple times with different squads, having an Utini bomb to complete a phase of a certain tier might be useful. Yeah. But we're not going to know until we've played through it. That's why, like I said, I'm kind of I'll be curious to know what it's like, which is why I'll stream all 4 accounts one after the other so that we can see an example of what a beginner / intermediate account at 1.7 mil looks like, what one at 2.8 looks like, what one at 3.5 looks like, and what one at 4.4 looks like. Different size rosters, different levels of gear, and let's see just how competitive and how much fun it is and how different it is with different with different accounts, because I imagine it's going to be a lot of fun for the veteran players that have those high end accounts that have got everything, so they can pick and choose what they want to do at each of the tiers. And then those lower end ones, they're the ones that are going to have to get creative, because if it says, oh, you get a bonus for this faction against the separatists, but you don't have that faction, you've got to think, right, well, I don't have that. I'm going to need to be creative. I'm going to need to use X, Y, and Z. So that's why I think there's so many many different variables that are going to make it interesting. But preparing for it is going to be very, very difficult until the theory crafters get to grips with this. So let McMole and It's Just Ian and Klesso and End All Beal, let those guys have at it during the exhibition phase. And once that exhibition phase is over, they'll be like, right, okay, for this one, you really need to work on this. For this tier, you really need to work on this. And they will, that They'll all come out with episodes.
Yeah, they always come up with their stuff, and
they'll come out with some awesome content that will tell us exactly what we need to work on for each specific faction, for each specific team regarding tiers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
And Heinze, I think what L73, to your point, I think is a little bit closer to your roster, if I remember correctly. So are you doing anything to prepare for Galactic Challenges, or are you just kind of staying pat right now?
UTD!
To be fair, man, look, and I don't mean to be arrogant, but the majority of my factions across the board are pretty good anyway, to a reasonable level. Let's be honest.
Do you have a new teeny bomb?
No, I don't have a Utini bomb. I'm working on them at the moment, but I've got everything else. But there's one thing. 100%
he's working on his Gamorrean Guard at the moment.
Yeah, I am actually.
Gamorrean Guard's a good character. I ain't hating on Gamorrean Guard at all. Put him with Vader and Wampa, that works.
I'm going to take Gamo to Gear 13 dressed as Gamo Guard, bro. There's a video incoming at some point soon. It's not going to go well. But
Vader, Wampa, Gamo Guard. I'm just throwing that out there.
One thing.
There'll be no difference to any other stream, but anyway.
One thing is going to be I can assure one thing, gentlemen. There is one absolutely 100% certainty. Not like you're good anyways, mate. Simple as that.
Yes. Yeah. Mace will not be any good. And we did get a donation in by Oscar Meow.
No.
She said, Heinze wouldn't like Sandbox. Can't preload turn meter.
That is come on, Meow Meow. Seriously, show some respect.
I'm just looking through my notes. Heinze, a Relic 7 Gamo will beat Array.
Relic 7 Gamo will beat Array.
Yeah, Scorch the Hoss is one of the competitors on GA Center. He doesn't win every single match, but he prides himself in getting full clears. He has a Relic 7 Gamo, and a Relic 7 Gamo will beat Array.
He's a good-looking unit, the old Gamo Guard. I'll tell you what, he's pretty hot. So he brings the heat. I'm looking forward to cranking him out in.
That's what Scorch does. Scorch brings. He's like the WWE version of a SWGOH streamer. But yeah, he's tested So there you go. Somebody has tried and tested a Relic 7 Gamo. So it will not be a waste, mate. You will get.
Unfortunately, a Relic 7 Gamo will not beat the Rancor.
Yeah,
gets eaten.
He's still gonna get eaten. Yeah.
He squeals. We've seen it.
He squeals like a little piggy. Squeal, little piggy.
It's canon. There's no escape.
All right. Let's see. Next question here for Scotty. And Scotty, question for you from Elliot Warsfold. He says, does the new TM changes have to do with galactic changes that are incoming? So we had
the
few
turn meter changes.
Yeah, the turn meter changes. Some people think that it might have to do with the content coming into Galactic Challenges. That's the reason they're doing it, versus just doing it in order to balance out the turn meter and the RNG factor. So do you think the Galactic Challenges and the turn meter are tied, or they're just two separate things in the same title update?
Well, I think it's an overall improvement. Yes, 100%. But I also think that, yes, it has come in because of the Galactic Challenges. That's, short answer. Yeah, I think so. They wouldn't just do it out of for no reason. You know,
I think we agree that it doesn't matter the reason. At least it's done. I mean, I think we all agree it's a good thing to do. It doesn't matter how, why, where, or when. It's happening, and that's a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. But I mean, it does bring up the question, oh my god, what is coming in Galactic Challenges? How much turn meter are they going to gain? Why do I have to worry about overflow? I mean, the questions can easily load up on, okay, I not only have to worry about getting 100% turn meter, but now I need to maximize overflow. It is a different conversation.
That's why we need that. That's why we need that QOL. They need to put a numerical value on that turn meter bar so that we can see what the overflow is.
Yep.
Measuring overflow sounds like a typical night at the McLaren household in the boudoir myself. That's all I'm thinking.
How many times have you been staring into the McLaren boudoir?
What do you want to know, Finn?
Although I will say, I don't know if anybody noticed on the post on the State of the Galaxy post, most PvE does not have a timer on it.
Yeah.
Okay, but this one does.
Yep.
There was a time that I saw.
It was like a 10-minute timer, wasn't it?
10 minutes.
It was 10 minutes and 28 seconds.
Yep.
Does that mean it's 15 minutes? I mean, we can say that there's definitely 10 minutes and something seconds, but I mean, did the timer start at 15? Did it start at 20? Did it start at 30? So even knowing what the turn meter is and what the turn meter overflow is still going to make it a little bit tighter than regular PvE. You couldn't it's not like territory battles where you could sit there with your notepad and write down what everyone's overflows are and work out, right, okay, if I use that character now, it'll remove the turn meter from them and they'll go next and I can use their special and it'll put all of that in that,
I think there's a different reason for that though, by the way, the timer. I don't know if you guys have remembered kind of what happened here, but with territory battles, remember how you used to get into loops and you used to get stuck? They changed it so that if you force quit the game, it would save the last wave that you had completed, right? And that was the score. But these are all one-wave battles, meaning that if you get stuck in a loop, you are screwed, right? So I think what they did is maybe there is something about partial rewards or being able to do multiple attacks in order to clear something, right? And then now with a timer, you know when the phase is going to end. There's no longer an infinite loop, which I think is a smart thing for them to do, because infinite loops that was one of the most annoying things when we first started Hoth TB. I still remember when we did Hoth TB, there were way too many infinite loops. And then in the other one with Acolyte and Zombie in the Dark Side Hoth, you got stuck in an infinite loop, and we had to tell people not to use Acolyte on their Night Sister team because it was so bad. So I think this is smart on their part.
Oh, I agree, and I just hope that they get rid of the there is an error with your connection.
Yeah.
That has got to be the most annoying thing in the world.
Yeah.
One thing for sure, guys, that counter at the top with the timer on it, it's definitely subject to change.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. We have one kind of general question, and then we have some fun questions. So the general question will kind of just go around to everybody, from William Dowd, and the question is, for everyone, could you share your daily or weekly mod farming routine? I've heard many things from many content creators, which has been rather confusing. So we'll start with Scotty here, but just as a quick reference, kind of like we responded to a few people already, right? And I'm pretty sure this is going to go across the board. Everyone farms mods a little different because everyone's roster is in a different state. However many speed mods you have can dictate how you mod, which ones you slice, which ones you farm. Do you want to go beyond speed and farm some other ones, right? So keep that in mind as we give you our answers as to what we do, right? And that's probably why you find it confusing, because we give advice a lot of times based on our roster, not on your roster. So if you want something more catered towards you, I mean, RSG does roster reviews, and I'm sure all of these guys, if you ask them, they'll be happy to help you guys. They have their own Discords and everything. They'll pimp their stuff here. But just keep in mind that if you want advice catered for how you should be doing something, make sure you ask specific about your roster, because content creators will talk about their perspective on their roster most of the time, and that's probably where you're getting your confusion. But Scotty, how are you farming your mods right now?
Okay, so what I do is I go first things first every day. I'm in the mod store. If I see any mod in there with speed, I'll buy it. It's as simple as that. And
not just gold, you're buying any color with speed?
Any color with speed.
Okay.
Anything that's got speed already on it. Anything that doesn't have speed, I don't touch it.
Okay.
I just move on to the next thing. So that's the first thing. I always buy mods that have got speed. If I'm going to be farming mods, I'll start at health and I'll work my way across all the way to the very end. So that'll go over a 7-day phase. So I'll go one day it'll be the health mods, and then I'll check what those are, on say Monday. The next day it'll be crit chance. The next day it'll be crit damage, blah, 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 blah. And that's how I work it. And then I use a refresh to go and, through the different nodes to try and get my slicing materials. That's what I do each day. So in terms of taking the mods up, anything that's got speed on it, I take it and I go for it. Anything that doesn't have speed, I sell it. That's how I work it.
There's Scotty's. Nev, how do you handle, in general, I know you have a bunch of accounts, so what is kind of a general thing you do?
I follow the same I do the same thing. I do the same thing for pretty much every single, or for all 4 of my accounts. same thing that Scotty does. So obviously, when you're going through the store every single day, if you see something in the store, if I see I tend to only go for, I tend to look for arrows, triangles, and crosses. So if I see an arrow, a triangle, or a cross, because you get circles, diamonds, and squares 10 for a penny, so I do not bother paying credits for those from the mod store because it's a waste of money. You get dozens and dozens and dozens of the left side of the mods. I never spend credits on them. So arrows, triangles, and crosses. If it's got speed on it and it is with regular credits, gold credits, I'll buy them because I usually have over 100 million on that, so it's worth it. As for farming mods, I do not farm mods. I spend every shred of mod energy on the slicing materials, on the materials, so that I can slice and roll mods. Because what tends to happen is through an entire month, you do that many events where you get free mods from events. They just stack up. Now, if you get too many, if you spend all of your currency on mods. And you get something, let's say you have a grey and it has a 5, or you've got a green and it's a 10. It's going to stay green forever unless you've actually got the materials to roll it all the way until it's gold.
1 second, really quick, Nev. Scotty, you might want to mute while you're sipping.
Sorry.
There's like this rhythmic sipping this entire...
This should be muted all the freaking time. Let's be clear.
Sorry, Nev. Continue.
Yeah, no. So I do not farm for mods. I simply farm for the.
You are not helping.
I simply farm for the. Material. The farm for the material so that I can roll those mods, so I can slice those mods, because it's great. We all love it when you roll. When you roll that grey mod to green and you get doubles. You get a 10 or you get an 11. You're like, yeah, this is brilliant, great, absolutely awesome. But then you haven't got the slicing materials and you've got to sit on a green at 10 or 11. No, you want the slicing materials to be able to take it to 15 and then 20 and then 25. So I would rather have 20 mods at the end of the month, and having spent every shred of my mod on the materials, so that I can take every single one of those mods, if they're good enough, to gold. So I want to be if it's got speed on it, I want to be able to roll the damn mod all the way to gold, as opposed to buying a boatload of mods and having an inventory full of grey and green mods sitting at 4s and 5s and sitting at 9s and 8s. Because it's like, sure, you can put those on characters, but you want to be able to see if the mod goes all the way at the end, and you cannot do that if you're spending all your bloody energy just trying to get a bunch of mods that are going to sit in your inventory at 4s, 5s, and 9s and 10s. So I don't waste time farming mods. I just farm the slicing material, because the amount of ever since I don't know if most people have noticed this, but that they do a hell of a lot more events each month now than they used to. And it's because of, the whole journey guide, the whole cadence thing, the legendary events. Mm-hmm. We've got more events every single month now. I mean, it's almost like every single event runs every single month. Sometimes they run twice a month. And a lot of these events, each time you do, one of the, you'll do tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. Tier 1 gives you 6 mods. Tier 2 gives you 6 mods. Tier 3 gives you 6 mods. So you could do an event and come out of it with a dozen to 2 dozen mods. So why would you waste money and waste energy buying more mods when you should be buying the material to slice those free mods that you've got?
Because they don't always give you crit chance and crit damage mods, and sometimes you need those.
Yeah, there are some occasions to farm, but yeah, it just depends on what you're looking for. If your focus is just speed, which is I think what a lot of Nev is farming, then yeah, it makes sense just to kind of go with those. Heinzie, your mod strategy. What are you currently doing with mods?
What are mods? I'm joking.
Okay, there you go.
Oh,
I thought I was talking to Remon for a second there.
Okay. Or Jobin. Okay. Big shout out, guys. I'm kidding. All right, simple. Okay. So again, as the problem is, like all things with mods, guys, it depends on what you need. We know that there are certain things that some people have more or less of. That makes it a bit tricky to talk about specific mod strategies here. With that being said, speed is king, ladies and gentlemen. We know that. Has been for a while. New changes are going to make that even more the case. So it's pretty simple. If you're, for instance, and we're just going to talk about speed mods here, right, just for the sake of explanation. There's two main things I look for, of course, speed secondaries off the bat, whether that's ones you roll or ones you buy. And the other thing that I personally always look for that I can't get enough of is the critical damage triangles as a primary. They're probably the two hardest things to get, I find anyway, and hardest to source, but that's just me. Pretty simple. I spend 2 weeks farming up as many mods as I can. They have a speed bump already built into it. You can go to either, gear 12 if it's grey, gear 9 if it's purple, and so on and so forth. Try and squeeze out and find out what those 4 secondaries are. Again, I've got a lot of credits in the bank to be able to do that. Basically, delete anything that doesn't bump any speed to start with. And then from there, I spend 2 weeks just doing that, building them all up. During that time, of course, I'm also then building up a lot of the slicing materials, and then I spend weeks 3 and 4 smashing the materials out and trying to get as many speed bumps as I can and deleting those doesn't. Pretty easy.
Or in other words, this is this is what Macias does when he logs into his account late at night. And Macias does all that for him, and none of that happens for Heinze. So that's what happens. So Macias Modding Mayhem, go and see him if you're struggling with mods.
I was trying not to advertise, you muppet. Seriously, who got this freaking guy in here? Finn,
we have no. I know.
Finn, this is your freaking fault, man. You know that. I warned you. I bloody warned you. And he said, "Nah, we'll be right. It's your own fault."
No, it is. It is. That's my bad. Yeah. So
what's wrong with Macias? He's a good dude.
No, there's nothing wrong. I like Macias. Yes.
He is good.
We have nothing wrong with Macias. Don't worry.
He's a star. We all love Macias. He's an absolute legend. We know that, guys. He's been instrumental in the support of myself and the channel. We know that, but that's not what I'm here to promote. I was trying to avoid that, but Scotty couldn't help himself because he's a muppet.
Yes.
Yeah, one thing we can say for certainty, Macias does not like 3v3. He hates 3v3.
I hate 3v3 too, so it's fine.
His 3v3, his reports at the GA Center Network Discord server for 3v3, I can't repeat them. I cannot repeat.
It's just a bunch of
his report. Basically, yeah, I cannot. I can't repeat any of it. It's he's like yeah. Like,
I'll say I do.
How many drinks has he had when he sends that report, Nev?
I do not know. I do not know. But his reports are. I have to be. I have to get interesting with my language because his reports.
Don't lift the skirt, boys. Don't lift the skirt. Come on, let's behave here. Let's
all right,
leave the
Scotty, get the song ready. I'll talk about my mods here, and as soon as we're done, we're jumping into the fun questions. So your song, on deck. So
I've got to go now.
So
I don't know what I've got to do, but I'm sure I've got to do something.
So the way I do mods is slightly different, I think, than all of these guys. So I will do speed. My focus will be on speed. But if anything hits, so we put out something about the mod progression, right? Which is a number in parentheses afterwards. Grays have 1s as a maximum. Greens have a 2 as a maximum. Blues have a 3. Purples have a 4. And golds have a 5 in that parenthesis number. I will go for anything up to a tier 2. So either a tier 1, which can ultimately lead to a 5, or a tier 2 that ultimately leads to a 4. I will focus on getting speed mods though, but if I hit any of the other stats at that tier 1 or tier 2 progression, I still keep them. If they get distributed, that's when I sell them. I do farm mods, and then I will slice them, so I don't necessarily have a strategy where I farm and slice anything in particular. I will farm the mods. I will buy from the store as well, the purple and the gold mods that show speed. I won't buy anything blue or lower because I just don't think it's worth it. But purple and gold I will buy from the mod store. And then I will slice up, see if they stay on the tier 1 or tier 2 progression. And if they do, then I will slice. And if they fall off, I sell. If they stay on, I keep. Unless it is a stat that I really need. There are some mods, like defense mods. I have some, but I haven't really farmed defense mods too much because I'm working on speed, just getting higher speeds right now. but when I do farm defense mods, I have a little more leeway on the stats on defense because I'm a little bit lower on those. So it's kind of a mix on just how to farm it and what I'm looking for. I do farm more specific for characters in general than just all mods, right? Speed is one of those you just keep on farming speed. So if I can get up to a 15 or higher, then I'm keeping those mods for sure. But if it's below and it's not really worth my time, then I probably won't go for those quite as much. So that is my mods farming strategy. It's a little different, and I think all of us are catering ours towards how we're building our rosters. So it's all, that's why like the advice that we would give you would all be based kind of on your roster if you wanted something a little more specific on the mod strategy there. And that, again, to go back to the original statement there, William Dowd, if you want some idea on how to farm yours, we can take a look at your roster because we do roster reviews on our lunch hours. And then we can do kind of a look at your mods and tell you kind of what direction you should go. If you're low on something, if you need to focus on one thing or another, what may be hindering you. So we can give you more specific advice too.
Finn, do you use the same sort of strategy as well for Tinder?
That's fair. Now, all I'm going to say, though, is, Heinzie, you better sit through all of the fun questions because you know what's about to come. After that one, you're sitting through all of it.
Oh,
I've got to get something out there, dude, before it all comes back at me, bro.
I know. All right. Scotty, you are up.
Yes, my friend.
Scotty's going to kick
All
us
right.
off into the fun section with, of course, the Song of Songs. The preload song.
Hello, Preload, my old friend. It's nice to see you again. And as the toilet paper flies off the shelf, Heinzie's in the Vegemite all by himself. And Heinzie's losing in the GAC all over again. Change your name to Ben. This is the sounds of Preload.
Bullshit. Sorry.
That was the most worthless beep ever. Just afterwards.
Better late than never.
All right, let's get into our questions.
All right, come on, let's rip the Band-Aid off and get this trash out of the way, Finn.
So first question from Oscar for Heinzie. If you had a child or pet, would you name them Foster?
Only if you didn't like them, because Foster is...
All right, next question.
I agree with that.
Oscar Meow for Nev. Were you able to donate your hair?
I haven't donated it yet. It's got to go back. It's got to be dried out and sent back to the UK to the Little Princess Foundation. But it will be.
Okay, there you go. Wilmo18 question: Heinzie, how will the turn meter changes affect your preloading?
Get that for a second. Can I buy your hair and can I give it to Finn to wear as a wig, like an afro? Please?
I don't need Nev's hair.
I'll donate whatever the hell you want, man, for that lock, so I can curl that up. New wig for Finn. That's what we want. Cut this preload bull out, people. I've been behaving and kicking butt lately. We've been on fire. This is absolute bull. That's what it is.
Next question from Oscar. Did Heinzie preload any turn meter this round?
Oh, for God's sake. No, you better. Come on. Was it Meow Meow again?
Yeah, that was Meow.
Meow?
That's Meow Meow.
Oh, come on, Meow Meow. Seriously. Unbelievable stuff, Meow Meow. Dead set. You're better than that. No, you are.
I have a question for Heinzie without notice.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. There we go. Durgan. Durgan's question. And there's no Jedi Master Adastra. So, Heinzie. Durgan. Did CG decide to release a turn meter update in game in order to help Heinzie?
Oh. Hey, what? They need to release a Mrs. Mac update when Scotty's around. I'm telling you right now.
Too bad it doesn't show him how to use the abilities with Padme.
Shut up, you muppet. It was a bad day.
Helenix, question for Nev. Why are you wearing a beanie, Sir Nev? Has anything interesting happened to your locks?
Take it off. Take it all off, Nev. Take it off. Oh, yeah. Come on. Take it off. Let's go.
I'm too sexy for my beanie. Too sexy for my beanie.
Hang on. I can play
there
that.
We go.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, wow. Holy crap. Swipe right, people. Look out. That's hot stuff.
Mate, we had a show in Australia called The Book Place, and there was a bookworm that used to be on. Nev looks like it.
Does too, actually.
I make this shit look good. I'm coming for Gridsy's. You know, give the hair a couple weeks, and I will have the best looking hair in SWGOH.
Yeah, well, when he's not available, get yourself a Sharpie. Draw on a beard, man, and we'll, you can be his replacement.
All right, next question. Wolfell, question for Finn. What questions do you enjoy asking most? Heinze preloading, Durgan style for JMA, or ships for T-Money? Ships for T-Money.
For T-Money, yeah.
T-Money. Especially when she drags out that O face, everyone's a winner, man.
Yeah.
Everyone's a winner.
Yeah.
It is. Oh, I thought you were going to play the Gridsy right there. Because that would have been the perfect... There you go. That is the...
Again, better late than never, says Mrs. Mac.
But yeah, ships questions for T-Money are definitely my favorite to ask, just always, because they actually are serious questions that we get to ask T-Money. All the other ones are in the fun questions, but the ship questions are legit questions for T-Money. That makes it a little bit better.
I love those T-Money questions.
Yes.
They're the best.
Durgan question: Jedi Academy is very late. Has RSG switched to Canadian internet, or is Operation Metaverse running Jedi Academy right now? We were not late. So just for reference, right? I think we were like at 10:01 is when we started. The reason being is I have learned that our bot in Discord, when you have a live stream set for a future time, sends a message as soon as the event is created. So I have tried to make it so that people in our Discord get notifications closer to the time of start. So instead of starting the event at like 9:30 and we have a 10 o'clock stream, I started the stream at 9:58 to get everything set up so you guys can then get the notification closer to the start time. So that was the reason why that happened.
Plus, we were late because Nev and I were watching the Formula One qualifying guys that ran over a bit over time.
That's true.
That was me.
That's true.
Yeah.
We were having that conversation as well. So yeah.
Yeah,
Morgan.
And you see, unlike NASCAR, where it's go real fast, we're turn to left. It's got like lefts and rights and speeding up and slowing down, and it's not just and we're going to turn to left, and we're going to turn to left, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with turning left. All right, next question is from Nathaniel Morgan. Question for Heinze. Will the turn meter overflow changes affect how turn meter loading works in TW?
Say, come on, man. You're better than that, brother. Come on.
Next question from Darsion 1972. He said, question, I pulled the Heinze turn meter maneuver not once but twice in my last GAC round. Any advice on how to pick myself up off the mat for the finals?
Like I got purple hair like freaking Holdo or something. I've got no hair, man. It wasn't Heinze maneuver my butt. What are you on about, man? That does not exist, bro. That's not cool, man.
It's quite easy to pull yourself up off of a Heinze maneuver, man. It's quite simple. You just go back over to the Gridsy sessions and watch him win.
Big shout out to Mrs. H talking about a Heinze maneuver, let me tell you.
Yeah. 3 kids proves it.
Hell yeah.
All right. So, Bill Buttlicker, question. Heinze, I need some advice on GAC. When I'm facing a tough opponent, is it better to set a tougher defense or go for offense and preload turn meter like you? Inquiring minds want to know about preload.
Bloody hell, dude. Seriously, this is bull. I stay up till stupid o'clock for this bull. I don't know what the hell I'm thinking. I should be asleep right now. And
hey, it gets even worse because the next question from Darsiah 1972 is for Scotty. It says, can you please help Heinze in the next GAC? I hear he's having some issues with something called preloading turn meter.
Okay, if I'm asking Scotty for advice, then we are well and truly. Yes. It's as simple as that.
Okay, now we get the real fun question, Heinze. So Durgan has a question. Says,
yes,
was Adastra getting super drunk last night because she was sad that the challenge schedule didn't include Jedi?
She was on fire. I'm not gonna lie. She had a ripping night. She was an absolute superstar. Started off with the wine, ended up being vodka shots. She was ripping it up hard. She was having a wicked time. Now, Now we've actually not happening, man. I've thrown it out there. I've actually invited Adustra on for a Gridsy session in future. It was fun. But I threw it out there as well, man. And it's up to her as well. I did throw the option out there that most of our guests that are on the Gridsy sessions, they're not voice only, Finn. They're video and voice, brother. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, I haven't seen her in the.
She has not done a face reveal, as far as I'm aware.
No, she has not. So guys, get onto Adustra and say we got to get her on as a guest. It'd be amazing. It's up to her though. It's her call.
Okay.
We threw it out there.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. All right, so that's where we're gonna stop for our Jedi Academy here. So thank you to everybody that's watching. We're gonna let all of our panelists go ahead and pimp their stuff. Let's start off with the Nev. Nev, go ahead and pimp your stuff.
Okay, so you know me. I do my GAC on the Escape Podcasts channel on Twitch. We do the show on Fridays, which is the main show. Then we do GA Center on Tuesdays. We do a little nerdy show with Thaddeus on Wednesday nights or on Sundays, depending on what's on TV, called Geeking Out with Going Nerdy. And we generally throw bunches of bits and pieces up on the YouTube channel for the channel. And then we've also got the Chain Gang, which is something that we get involved with every single week that GAC is running. So there's loads of stuff, and there's always some bits and pieces for us there for watch.
Is the podcast still on iTunes and Spotify?
Yeah. I mean, Paul still puts all of the all of the podcast once it's been edited for audio. He still puts it all up on all of the various different platforms just for listening as well. So yeah, the Escape, cool. That is, I mean, that's the only thing that is available on those multiple different platforms. Nothing else goes up on there. Everything else just stays up either on Twitch or on the YouTube channel.
Okay. And then Heinzie.
Hi, I'm Heinzie. NGGC. Harpoons and beer during the week, guys. I think Mondays and Thursdays at the moment, GAC's on. We do the Gridsy sessions on Friday night US, which is Saturday afternoon Australia time. We rip it up. We go a bit crazy. We have a ball. We have our giveaways on at the moment as well, which is pretty cool. Giving away hyperdrive bundles and bottles of booze and gift cards and all sorts of goodies. So, guys, come and join us for those. We love to share. Give a bit back to the community as well where we can. Yeah, it's great. We've got some other videos coming up. Obviously, the YouTube channel's kicking in as well. We can be doing some other bits and pieces. And, yeah, come and join us. It's a hell of a lot of fun. And from time to time, yeah, obviously you do see that Flog Scotty as well. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we're going to give it a crack anyway. But we
it's a good thing
here anyway.
And Scotty, anything you want to pimp?
Well, you'll usually find me lurking in the RSG server or in IT server or anyone else's server.
Just
lurking around. Yeah, I'm usually lurking. You'll usually find me in there. Yeah, drunk. Big Scoots is my other name. But no. I do actually have something that I would like to promote, actually.
Sure.
And guys, make sure that you keep your eyes peeled because launching this week, this Friday, is the Wits and Arse podcast with Heinzie and myself. Not a SWGOH related thing. It's just something that we're doing. It's basically taking the piss out of the world. And make sure you tune into it. You can catch it on all the good platforms like Spotify, iTunes, also Android and iHeartRadio. So let's go. Let's do it. Launching this Friday.
There you go. And then on one serious question to end here, Scotty, we did get one other question. I had saved this for the very end so we can end on this. Since you're here, we had a question from Dr. Feelgood for Scotty. How are you feeling since your health scare earlier this year? Everyone is glad to see you back, so they want to make sure that you're doing well. So how are you feeling, my friend?
Oh, man, I'm feeling much better. Not going to lie, it's still sometimes hard to breathe, but that's because I'm a smoker too. But it is still hard to breathe. But no, going much better, going really, really well. Things are really good. So thanks for your concern, guys. It's nice to be back.
There we go.
Mwah.
So, on that note, for the Nev, and the Escape podcast, for Heinze and for Scootsy himself. Thank you to all of you guys for joining on this Jedi Academy. I will be doing my GAC on Twitch at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, so roughly about 2 hours from now. So if you guys would like to, head on to the Reality Skewed Gamers Twitch channel, twitch.tv/RealitySkewedGamers. Join me there at 2 p.m. We have my GAC at 2 p.m. And then at 8 p.m. on the Twitch channel, we have our newest episode of our Dungeons & Dragons campaign, where we are going into our very first combat in this new campaign. So hopefully you guys can join us for that. And again, you guys have already on this channel. So if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and go onto Twitch and follow us there. So for all of us here, hope you guys all have a great, happy rest of your Saturday. And we will see you next week for another lovely Jedi Academy. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good time.